Looking to regain their winning ways, the Broncos host the Bengals in an AFC showdown.
We can get this win. Hopefully we can create some momentum with that and get a little streak going.
Brock Osweiler will once again lead the Broncos offense, looking to find the end zone in the red zone.
Our goal every week is to put the ball in the box every possession, and we got to finish drive.
Meanwhile, the Denver D is up against a struggling Cincy offense that still has plenty of weapons.
I just got to get it going. I just got to get it going and make some plays.
It's time to buckle up for the Bengals. The Broncos TV pregame show starts right now. A beautiful day in the Mile High City as the Broncos welcome in the Cincinnati Bengals. Denver is 13-2 all-time at home against the Bengals. In fact, the last time Cincinnati won here was way back in 1975. Today, though, both teams enter with 3-6 records. Hello, and thank you for joining us for the Broncos TV pregame show presented by Microsoft. I'm Phil Milani, and we have a great show in store for you. It's homecoming weekend here as both Red Miller and Terrell Davis will be honored during the game today. And in just a moment, we'll be joined by Joe Horrigan, the Executive Director of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But first, let's check in with the guys as they made their way in for the game today.
Gotta get a win, man. Gotta get a win. Get a win. That's the plan. Today's the day, man. We gotta go out there and get this dub. You know, for the team, for Broncos country, for everybody. Gotta get it done. Let's go.
Oh, it's huge. It's like a playoff game for us. Playoff atmosphere. Our fans gonna be loud, and we need to get this win.
Birthday today.
Is it?
All I want is a win on my birthday. I appreciate it.
The guys are ready to go, and now we're pleased to be joined by Joe Horrigan, the Executive Director of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Joe, thank you so much for joining us.
It is my pleasure to be here today. A beautiful day for football, isn't it?
Hard to believe it's November.
It's hard to believe, it is.
What kind of festivities do we have planned here for Terrell Davis?
Well, we have a couple of things going on today, but Terrell Davis, as everybody knows, was enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame this past summer. And as a part of that ceremony, he is presented with his bronze bust and the night before his gold jacket. But we wait till we come back home in front of his fans to present him with his Hall of Fame ring. Now we're going to represent, because we actually gave it to him Friday night at an evening event, but we're going to give Terrell his ring again, and then the other Denver Bronco Hall of Famers are getting their new Hall of Fame rings, which are identical to Terrell's, except it has their bust on it and their name on it, obviously. But this is something we've been doing over a period of 3 years, is giving all of our Hall of Famers brand new Hall of Fame rings by Kay Jewelers.
And this is a beautiful ring here. This is going to be the one presented to Gary Zimmerman, right?
That is correct.
And what kind of things are on the ring?
Well,
here?
the thing that makes it so unique is the bronze bust. I can show you here.
Kind of hard
right
to
up,
see,
it's very hard to see, but a replica of his bronze bust, which is in Canton, which we say will last 40,000 years, is on the side of the bust on one side, his name on the other, and then the diamonds go all the way around like a stadium around the blue stone. So it's a beautiful, beautiful ring that we are now proud to give to our Hall of Famers as the third iconic symbol of being elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Of course, Terrell Davis is the 5th Denver Broncos player inducted into the Hall of Fame. What do you think made Terrell Davis a Hall of Famer?
Well, you know, every Hall of Famer is very special, or they wouldn't be a Hall of Famer. But Terrell's story and his career, though short, was such an impactful career. And I've always compared Terrell to a guy like Gale Sayers. Every time he touched the ball, he had the potential of scoring, and every time he touched the ball, it was always a dynamic run or a dynamic play. But his playoff career, his games in playoff games that were critical, that meant so much to the team's history, to their success, he was the guy. And he was the one that made John Elway's offense work.
One last question here for you. We heard David Baker on Friday night mention that hopefully soon he'll be knocking on Broncos owner Pat Bowlen's door. What do you think about the legacy that Pat Bowlen's built here?
Well, you know, there are so few owners today that have the legacy that a Pat Bowlen has that, you know, it will be, as I tell people, it's a matter of when, not if. And we wish all the luck to Pat as he struggles with his health issues. But we really do hope that it is very soon that David Baker knocks on the door to let Pat know that he's been elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Well, we're hoping so too, Joe. Thank you very much for spending some time this morning with us.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, now let's go to Matt Boyer, who's standing by with head coach Vance Joseph.
Coach, a Bengals team comes in this week that is very similar to you guys record-wise, where they are in their season. What do you need to do early to make sure this is a fair game for your group?
We have to play well early. You know, we haven't done it in the last 5 weeks. We got to figure out how to make plays, keep drives going, score in the red zone, and not give up touchdowns early. I mean, simple, good football.
This has been a tough stretch for your squad, but we've seen the attitude from the guys all week. It's been positive. It's been upbeat. Are you at all surprised by that? Is this what you expected from this group?
I am not surprised by that. We have a great locker room with great leaders, guys who want to win football games. So I'm not surprised by that. Every week we've worked, you know, but we have to work smart on Sunday to win.
One win is all it takes, right, Coach?
That's it.
Best of luck.
Thanks, bye.
Thank you very much, Matt. Now we're here with Broncos senior reporter Andrew Mason for his matchup of the game. Mace?
Yeah, and it starts with the pass rush. The Bengals have a good, strong pass rush from the interior defensive line in particular. And Geno Atkins, he's one of the best interior pass rushers in the game. 6 sacks this year already, 9 sacks last year, 11 sacks back in 2015. Few guys are better at collapsing the pocket from the inside. And if the Broncos are going to keep Brock Osweiler upright and unruffled in the pocket, it's going to start with making sure that Geno Atkins is not up there in his face, not only in terms of trying to bring down Osweiler, but also potentially knocking down passes. He can bat passes at the line of scrimmage as well. He's effective at that too.
Yeah, you got to know where Geno Atkins is at all times. A 4-time Pro Bowler and twice named first-team All-Pro. Mace, though, what have you seen from this Broncos offensive line? Last week, they kept Osweiler clean.
Yeah, I thought for the offensive line, one of the most effective games they've had all season, both in terms of keeping Osweiler upright and also in terms of getting some holes for the running game. Yeah, nice drive to start the second half, in particular, getting the ground game going. 8 runs on that 13-play drive. Even though the Broncos were down 18 points, they were able to get some balance. It was a good chance to generate some momentum. Obviously, the Patriots were able to strike back and squelch some of that momentum, but it showed what the Broncos can do when they can get the run and the pass both working together. Good game for the offensive line last week. If you can build on that, you've got something to grow on for the rest of the season.
Yeah, of course, scheme plays a huge role in that. Mace, thank you very much. You can find Andrew Mason on Orange and Blue 760 every weekday from 10 to noon for First and 10 at 10. Give him a follow on Twitter at Mace Denver, or watch his game reflections with Casey Jones every Tuesday on DenverBroncos.com. Now here's Brock Osweiler, who's making his 3rd straight start, showing some respect for that Bengals defense.
You have a D-line who plays very aggressive. They get upfield, they rush hard, they play with great energy. So it's going to be a great challenge for us. You know, the Bengals have, you know, been in the playoffs a ton the past couple of years, and it's not going to be an easy game at all. We know we're going in for a fight. They're coming here trying to get a win. We're trying to get a win. And like I said, they're very talented. They're a veteran group, and so I expect a very hard-fought game.
Osweiler will try to get the ball to his playmakers early and often today, and with 1 touchdown today for Demaryius Thomas, he'll tie Shannon Sharpe for the 2nd most in franchise history with 55 touchdowns. Now let's once again go to Matt Boyer, who's standing by inside the Broncos locker room.
Thanks, Phil. Yeah, welcome inside the Broncos locker room, everybody. The equipment staff behind me making their last-minute adjustments before today's game. Now, the big headline coming into this one, the Broncos want to get a win before they head off on the road for a 2-game stretch against both Oakland and Miami. This has been a tough stretch of games for the Broncos. However, as we heard from Coach Joseph earlier, the players extremely upbeat and excited for this one. On defense, the Broncos want to make sure that they guard against the backs and the tight ends. Players have talked all week long about how tough it's been to kind of find those schemes. Keep an eye out for some different defensive looks today from the Broncos, especially with up-and-coming young players like Justin Simmons and Will Parks, who have been playing extremely well recently. On the offensive side of the ball, the Broncos are going to be a little thin at tight end with only 2 healthy tight ends on the roster today with Virgil Green and Austin Traylor. That means it will be extremely important for wide receivers like Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas on the edges to get open, opening up the middle of the field for the Broncos in the run game. Keep it tuned to DenverBroncos.com after today's game as well. Phil and myself will be right here inside the Broncos locker room live on both Periscope and Twitter. We'll also have Vance Joseph, Brock Osweiler, and Vaughn Miller live at the podium. But for now, Phil, we'll send it back to you on the field.
Thank you very much, Matt. Now we're back here field level with Broncos insider Steve Atwater, also a Ring of Famer. Steve, what do you remember from when you were inducted into the Ring of Fame?
Oh, man, I remember my family coming out and and all the players who had played in the past. It was just a wonderful environment. The crowd was going crazy, and we're going to need them to do that tonight. But yeah, just a wonderful feeling of family and being close, and just a wonderful celebration.
Well, it should be a great day today for Red Miller and his family. Let's get to your keys of the game, though. Steve, your first key.
First key, we got to be able to run the ball. You know, C.J. Anderson, I love to see him get the ball over and over and over again. The Cincinnati Bengals defense, although Geno Atkins is really good at rushing the passer, they're 27th in the league against the run. I like to see us take advantage of that and pound the ball.
Yeah, and the Broncos wins. They've ran the ball really well, averaging 113 yards per game this year. That's 14th in the NFL. Steve, key number 2.
Key number 2 is that we win the turnover battle. That's kind of been our recurring theme week after week. The Broncos have a league-leading 31 consecutive wins when we win the turnover battle, and that's been the case this year too. The games that we've won the turnover battle.
Yeah, overall though, minus 14 in a turnover margin. That's worst in the NFL. Steve, key number 3.
Key number 3 is stop A.J. Green. A.J. Green is a big play receiver. He can make big plays. I'm hoping that Aqib Talib does a great job of covering him, and as a defense, we play well, especially against A.J. Green.
Already 5 touchdowns for Green this season, on pace for a 1,000-yard season. Steve, thank you so much. You can find Mr. Atwater on Orange and Blue 760. He joins Mace and Ryan Edwards every weekday for First and 10 at 10. You can also find him on the Broncos YouTube page with yours truly for Good Morning Broncos Country. Now here's Domata Peko, who spent his first 11 years in the league in Cincinnati.
I got nothing but respect for the Bengals, and they're the ones that gave me my first shot, you know. So I got nothing but love and respect for them. But now I'm a Bronco, you know, so I'm going to go out there and do my job. But, you know, it's a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, you know, because they had a chance to get me back there. But, you know, that's just the way the business works. But I'm excited, man. You know, a chance to go against your old team, just like when Ron Leary, you know, played Dallas. You know, he really wanted to get after them, wanted to get a W. So it does. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to my family. And I'm excited for an opportunity to go out there and play against my old team.
Big game for Domata Peko, and now we're pleased to be joined by Doug Jones. He works for JBS. That's a meat company that works very closely with today's community partner. That's the Food Bank of the Rockies. Doug, first of all, just tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, I work with JBS. We currently work with Weld County Food Bank of the Rockies. Obviously, the Food Bank's something near and dear to our hearts as a company, as a food company. So we continue to reach out in the communities and alleviate hunger around the counties here in Colorado.
And that's especially important this time of year, right, with Thanksgiving coming up on Thursday.
Absolutely. Thanksgiving's a huge time of the year for donations, for people to support the food banks. But I would encourage everybody to remember that there's 11 months out of the year that people still need to eat. So keep giving. Help out wherever you can.
And the Food Bank of the Rockies is the largest hunger relief organization in the state of Colorado. Doug, how can people get involved if they want to help out?
Well, you can get on the website. You can just type right in Food Bank of the Rockies, and you can sign up as a volunteer. They have donors where you can sign up. I would point out that one of the biggest claims is that $1 provides 5 meals. That is huge. I don't think people realize how important it is, $1, what it can do for a family. So definitely get on the website. You can reach out to your local communities that will direct you to different organizations that might be able to help as well.
That's incredible. Just $1 can help that much, huh?
Yes. Yeah, it's a huge, most of the donations come from corporate partners like ourselves, other companies, but the day-to-day operation needs the cash to make that work.
Well, earlier this week, the Broncos were out at the mobile food bank, helping those in need have a happy holiday this Thursday.
This is an annual tradition for the Broncos as one of our staff community service opportunities. It's very important that our staff are out here setting up, as you can see, but also having the opportunity to distribute to families and wish them happy holidays as the season is coming up. Thanksgiving is about being with friends and family, and we just want to make sure that all of our community knows that they're part of the Broncos family and that we want to support them, not just at this time, but all throughout the year.
Back here field level with the very busy Matt Boyer. Matt, today's really a celebration for the franchise's history, huh?
Yeah, the Ring of Fame is always a big event. One of the biggest things that we do each year, Pat Bolin, of course, starting what has become a a hallmark for a lot of our former players. We saw this weekend that a lot of guys like Tom Jackson came back. Steve Atwater, of course, he's always with us, but even he mentioned, you know, how much he enjoys this weekend and how much it means to him. John Elway, Terrell Davis, the list goes on. Rod Smith. We could spend 15 minutes naming off all the guys, but it's a great thing that the Broncos have established, and I think that Tom Jackson said it best yesterday. No matter if you played in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, the aughts, this is a huge point of pride for the players to be a part of the Broncos family.
Yeah, and Tom Jackson will be speaking at halftime today along with Nan Miller, the wife of the late Red Miller, who will be inducted into the Ring of Fame. Of course, he led the Broncos to their first Super Bowl in 1977. Before the game, though, Terrell Davis is going to get honored, too.
God, we've seen, since the Super Bowl, right, it's been a huge celebration for TD, and deservedly so, a guy who had a great career in Denver, so many great memories, an MVP season. This is a guy who's finally getting his due this weekend in front of the fans. We've seen it in Canton and we've seen it in Houston, but now to be recognized in front of your home fans, that's something special.
Yeah, we talked with Joe Horrigan earlier. We got to see the ring that he'll be passing out. So a really great celebration day here at Mile High Stadium, and the fun really got started on Friday night at the Broncos Ring of Fame Plaza.
It's really hard to I'm serious, to put this into words and how much this means and how special this honor is. It's not taken lightly.
In some ways, it's kind of a final blessing to him, and just kind of fitting in a way that it's happened the way it has.
All right, Matt, let's put a bow on this show. Your final thought.
Get off to a fast start, right? I think that's been the thing that the Broncos have concentrated on all week with regards to getting out in front of teams, not giving up leads, not falling into a hole. I think if you get out ahead of this Bengals team, this is a team that's struggling. You can't give them momentum. If you give them momentum, you give them life, and they could be in the game for the rest of the way. So I think that getting off to a hot start, very important.
Yeah, the Broncos have been outscored in the first quarter in their losses this season, 55-12. I'm going to kind of piggyback off of that and say win the turnover battle. You know, the Broncos have really struggled with turnovers this season, and in 4 of the 5 games during this losing streak, they've turned the ball over in the first quarter. So let's protect the ball and maybe get off to a fast start like you mentioned. Okay, that's going to do it for us. We'll be back live post-game in the podium and inside the locker room. But until then, this has been the Broncos TV pregame show presented by Microsoft.